Flags are up, engines rise, and away we go. It was a decent start from Mark Smith, but now the Porsche really gets into his stride, and Michael Petters's denied as they scream through turn one. Porsche leads BMW. So Stuart Dayburn trying to challenge for second, but being beaten back by Michael Vicciulli. All that cement dust being kicked up. Yeah, that was indeed from Mick Dwayne's detonated engine. There's Andy Rath in that Lotus Europa. He suffered a big engine failure at Snetterton last year, I think it was. Big belt of smoke, just as I mentioned that. Hopefully I haven't just commentator cursed him. I'll take account if he does. But Michael Vicciulli chasing the Porsche. Well, Michael Vicciulli started fourth in this particular race. Then you got Dayburn and Mark Smith. He's unhappy about being behind the battleship grey Tuscan. All the dust being kicked up from the Ginetta, that's the pet Ginetta. Always makes me wonder whether they're actually smoking or whether it's cement dust when they do that. Oh, and a bit of normal dust being kicked up as well. Paul Bolton, the inside line of that 1 Series BMW. There's Andrew Roby in the 29 car challenging as they're coming through turn 8. But whoa, big slide there from the BMW, and the Pet Ginetta's gone a bit wide. It looks like the track is still very, very slippery, and if we have got inclement weather coming tomorrow, oh, that's really going to spice things up.
Yeah, he just managed to hang on to that, Michael Vicciulli. Lots of arm twirling to try and bring the car back under his spell. Michael Vicciulli is the only driver in this race that has an extra time penalty come the pit stop window because of his performance at Thruxton. Michael Vicciulli will have an extra 15 seconds to spend in the pit lane as a result of a second place finish at Thruxton, so he needs to push on again. We've also got Mark Smith there diving up the inside of the grey TVR Tuscan of Stuart Dayburn, and is he through yet? The BMW is through and ahead, so Mark Smith now at the wheel of the number 136 E36 Beamer is up into second place. Stuart Dayburn down into third and already falling away to a degree, isn't he, at the wheel of the Tuscan?
Yeah, the Tuscan will start to get its horses galloping, but it's not going to enjoy such a strong performance as he did earlier on in the day when we saw him in the modern classics, but we'll see how well he does. There's Martin Addison in the Aston Martin Vantage diving on the inside line of the 29 1-2 BMW. That's not been a great start for the Aston Martin. Martin Addison, yes, that I'm going to trip over that a few times. Started in 6th, but now he's fighting with Andrew Roby, what is 8th place, so he's not had a great start in the Aston, but again, I wonder whether this track doesn't quite suit the Aston quite so well, as we now look at Tom Holbrook in another one of the AMP3 BMWs having an argument with the 36 BMW. Ollie Smith, yeah, we've already seen, he won his race earlier on. So again, yet again, another battle of the Beamers going on. It's always great to see.
Michael Vicciulli was on the very edge of Adige there, round through turn 1 again. 2 great big black marks as the car sort of started to skip away from him, but again, a little bit of mid-corner oversteer was countered by a bit of opposite lock, so the E46 still remains in what will be 3rd position, or 4th position I should say, at the moment. So down the straight up towards the braking area for Rocket go the leaders. Good fight still going on between Ollie Smith and Tom Holbrook, the 2 E36s together. The bronze coloured number 36 car of Ollie Smith, the black car with its gold wheels in the hands of long-time BMW racer Tom Holbrook. Just off those is the number 2 Ginetta as well, which is Chris Petch at the wheel of the G55. Martin Addison's Aston Martin is 8th, Andy Roby's 1 Series Beamer is 9th, and Andrew Rath in a Lotus completes the top 10 at the moment. But all 3 of those are together, aren't they, for 8th, 9th and 10th?
Absolutely they are, and Andy Rath is looking to do well. He's won the new Millennium Cup for a couple of years, 2018-2019 if memory serves. So he's been very, very successful in that car for a long, long time now, and he's looking to try and improve on his position at the moment. He runs an IT business. He's had that car since 2018, 480 horses in such a tiny frame. That's got to be great fun to do with this. Dylan Popovic, the Bosnian driver, he's doing well. He started at the back of the field. He's now up to 12th. Beg your pardon, he's up to 11th now, having just gotten past Eric Bolton in the Paul Bolton, beg your pardon, wrong one. There is an Eric Bolton, but he's not in this race. In the 370Z. So yeah, Dylan Popovic doing well to make up for some lost time. Had a very rough qualifying. He only did a couple of laps as a result. Had to start from the back of the field. But yeah, I've actually raced against Dylan Popovic in the virtual world. It's one of the few occasions I can say that about a CSCC driver. Whoa, Martin Addison. That's not a very grippy surface out there on the outskirts of turn 7. But I can confirm that Dylan Popovic is a very fast driver virtually, and as are you indeed, of racing against you in the virtual world, Mr. Werrell.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's interesting to see how close virtual racing is now to real racing. Martin Addison at the wheel of that Aston Martin has still got his hands rather full, hasn't he? He's got Andy Roby tucked right up behind him at the wheel of the BMW 1 Series. Andy used to race Marcos Mantis cars a few seasons ago. Then we've got Andrew Rath at the wheel of the green Lotus with the 2 yellow stripes down it, and the ever-improving Dylan Popovic off the back of the grid, what started 17th Popovic up to 11th place, and he's absolutely knocking on the door of the top 10 now, isn't he? Because he is within, what, a couple of cars lengths of Andrew Rath's number 178 Lotus, and if he can pick that off, he's got Andy Roby to try and pick off, and Martin Addison to pick off as well. So, yeah, great fight. 8th, 9th, 10th, and now 11th places, heading out of Church. One great train of cars. Aston, Beamer, Lotus, and Dylan Popovic picks off Andrew Rath, largely because Andrew Rath ran wide coming out of Church Corner. Had to get out of the throttle, and through goes the G50.
Now that Lotus Europa has been belching a fair amount of flame as it's coming out of the banking turn number 3. So, and these cars will do that. A bit of unspent fuel will get into the exhaust system and just come out as a spit of flame. It's not that unusual, but that many times I'm wondering if that car's running a little bit rich than it should be. We'll see. Dylan Popovic capitalising on that small mistake. There is Addison again, getting very, very squiggly. That thing's a beast to handle at the best of times, let alone trying to go sideways with it.
They've had a few issues with that Aston Martin. I was talking to Martin's father, Bill, who is a very, very successful racer. The Aston coming under pressure. It's gearbox issues with it. They think they'd put in the wrong sort of oil into it, so they've changed the oil that's gone into the gearbox. And that seems, for the moment, to have sorted the issue. But it is good to see that car out there, because it wasn't many days ago that was still in pieces in the garage and still being worked on. So, yeah, lots of work done to even get that Aston Martin to this meeting.
The Lotus Europa having a look on the inside line, but couldn't quite get alongside Andy Rath. I think just losing out on the horsepower battle to the Ginetta. Bill Addison's building an E-Type Jaguar, if memory serves.
Yeah.
So very much look forward to that. I'm not sure whether it is built or he's being built. I remember speaking to Martin at Snetterton when he changed from Peugeot to Aston. I can't remember whether he said the car is built or being built.
Being built, I think.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Very much look forward to that. I mean, again, sucker for an E-Type Jag.
Yeah, a bit of traffic for our race leader as he comes over the start-finish line. Up at Rocket is still that great fight going on for 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th places. Andy Roby still in the 1 Series, applying the pressure to Martin Addison. There's not been a chink in the armour as yet, though, from the Aston Martin driver, and therefore the man from the northeast is still at the front of this little quartet of cars. They're about to head over the start-finish line in just a few moments' time. 22 minutes of the race to go. Still this great fight going on, but only, 2 minutes before that pit window opens, the final pit window of the day.
Indeed. Andy Rath is falling a little bit off the back of this particular pack, and an area that I thought the Lotus Road would be a bit stronger, that tail end of the lap with all the twisty bits. I thought would be prime position for the Lotus Road, and there it is again, belching a bit more flame, quite a bit more flame indeed, out of turn 3. There's our race pair. Michael Petter's not enjoying. I did it now. Daniel Petter's, I beg your pardon. Very, very sideways in a very, very powerful car. Good fun, but not the fastest way of doing anything. But being chased by Mark Smith, whose son Aaron Moult Smith actually runs the Amp Speed outfit that services a number of BMWs in the Classic Sports Car Club, as they now work their way past. Oh, that's close for Mark Smith. He's going to be caught out just getting through that last turn from the Ginetta. That's the Irvin Davies car. So Ross Irvin has actually shared that car. I thought that Davies would withdraw.
I thought it was down to a single driver as well. When you mentioned it earlier on, I was with you. I thought it was just Ross Irvin, but we'll maybe have to catch up on that ahead of tomorrow's race, of course, because all of these cars that we see out today come out tomorrow for a second race, and we add to that the Magnificent Sevens tomorrow as well, all of which again will be live streamed to you, brought to you by the Classic Sports Car Club in association with Alpha Live for this weekend. So Daniel Peters still pushing hard as he possibly can up towards the braking area for Rocket. He has not set the fastest lap of the race, so it is that chasing BMW behind Mark Smith that is the fastest lap of the race so far, and we're now not that far away also from the pit window opening.
We have, and someone's mistimed it. It's the Pets Ginetta. They've actually come in, so either they've mistimed the stop or there was a problem for the number 2. That is a great shame. If that is the case, that usually goes great guns, well, don't they all? In fairness, it's Dylan Popovic on the outside and on the cement dust, trying to get past Martin Addison, and manages to do it on the way down to turn 7. Of course, talk about brave. but Martin Addison's going to say, no, denied, sir. The man from Teesside is going to then wrestle that Aston Martin back up into that position, which, again, that's a battle for 7th. No, Dylan Popovic is going to claim that one back again, coming towards turn 9. And here comes Andy Roby in the BMW. He put the Aston Martin off. Well, I imagine the battle with Dylan Popovic slightly disrupted the momentum from Martin Addison. And I saw a bit of smoke coming out of the back of the Ginetta there as they're now coming past that. Who are they getting past there? I think that's the Farrell Whelan Lotus 6 Siege. And yeah, that's the Petr and Petr Ginetta. He's stationary. Yeah, the driver's removed his helmet. That's it's coming to an end. That's a shame. So we didn't really see that car get handed over. It was going to be Harry Petch that was going to take that one over, but alas, not going to be the case. Father Chris started that one. And Harry, the youngest of the Petch sons, didn't get his turn in the sun this time around. As we continue to watch Andy Rath now starting to get back up to speed in the Lotus Europa, still spitting flame at the tail end of it, screaming through church, or starting out of church towards school, but no, the Aston Martin with the horsepower advantage over the Lotus Europa. I think there's a bit more caution being exercised on the brakes because there's a fair amount of slippery moments going on. We saw Daniel Peters getting very, very sideways. We've seen several cars get sideways, but the leader in particular get very sideways in that GT3 Cup Porsche. I would imagine the car like that Lotus Europa would have great fun being sideways because it's such a short car, but either way, they don't want to be losing too much time to anybody. We see Addison now. Into the pits comes the Aston Martin. So Martin Addison brings in the 189 car for his scheduled stop. And there is and that's the Petr and Petr Ginetta back out again. So whatever issue they've had, I think they've done their pit stop too early because I saw Chris Petch with his helmet off. That's what made me think that they retired the car, but that car's back out there. I reckon they've done their pit stop too early. So if that's the case, then they are going to have a penalty applied to them, or they're going to have to come in again. Either way, Ginetta now down to the tail end of the field, but it's at least still out there as we look at Mark Smith still pestering the back of Daniel Peters in the Porsche. Daniel has brought the car in almost sideways, bringing in that monstrous 911-997 GT3 Cup car. That's going to leave the lead to Mark Smith for a little while at least, being, I'd say, hounded by the Petr Ginetta. I mean, they've crossed swords a few times in the field as we see the next BMW getting very, very squiddly. That was Michael Vituli having a bit of a moment coming out of the last bend. There is Andy Roby in the 29 1 Series BMW. Stuart Dayburn in the Battleship Grey Tuscan. Is he going to, as they say, timed pit stop this time, so you're not going to see the frantic undoing of belts, getting out, shutting door, opening door procedure that we've seen for the last few races. It is 2 minutes from pit in to pit out. So as soon as they cross the timing beam, the timer starts, and as soon as they leave the pit lane, so as soon as they cross the pit lane exit timing beam, is when the timer stops. If it's over 2 minutes, they're fine. If it's under 2 minutes, they earn a penalty plus the amount of time they were short by. So that is how the timed pit stop works. It's kind of easier to execute as far as the drivers are concerned, but some of the club participants have voted for the quick as you can pit stop procedure, which used to be the standard before before COVID. As we see Daniel Peters wafting the door, as we said earlier, when it gets really, really hot inside the car, even on a cold day. When we were at Snetterton at the beginning of the season, it was freezing cold outside. I can confirm that because I was doing the pit lane interviews. But inside the car, it was like an absolute oven. So you can imagine how hot it feels when the air temperature is that much higher. That's why Daniel Peters was wafting the door just to get some airflow through the car. Lots and lots of pit stops going on as the field are spreading out somewhat. There's the current race leader Mark Smith being chased by the returning Petch. That will be Harry Petch that is got hold of that one. One of the next few cars. There's Martin Addison back out onto the field, having done his pit stop. There's race leader with the pink accented car. And said his son, Aaron Moulton Smith, runs the Amspeed unit that services and keeps a variety of BMWs up to speed. Not just here at the Classic Sports Car Club, but there is usually a fair representative, or a fair representation, I should say, of Amspeed BMWs here at the Classic Sports Car Club. There are a few. Tom Holbrook is in one of them. You see another few cars. Oh, big lock up there from Michael Fagioli. Number 89. Oh, goodness me. Nearly slamming into the back of the 69 car. Is that still Matt Tippings that is involved with that one, or was that handed over? That is Oscar Trepus that has got the 325i E90. And Mark Werrell has found a driver to have a chat with in the pit lane.
Yeah, time to catch it with another driver now that the pit window was open for our last race of the day. And Chris Pretch brought the Ginetta G50 into the pit lane a little bit earlier with a slight problem, Chris.
Yes, the bonnet came open on the back straight, which is a bit alarming. So I lost all vision. It dropped down again as I braked, but I thought it was safe to come in and rather than risk any damage to me or other competitors. It seemed a safe thing to do.
You came in, I think, just before the pit window had opened, but you managed to do a driver change. I think there was quite a significant net loss with the amount of time you spent, but Harry's behind the wheel now.
Yes, Harry's out there, so he'll be doing a good job of it. Although I've got to say, we've lost our tyres. We're due a new set of tyres, we really are.
Is that an investment for tomorrow?
Oh, we've got them with us. We'll put them on, and we should have put them on for this race, really. It was, anyway, it's still great. It's a great grid. I got a fantastic start. I think that's about third. But then on the turn 3, I forgot what it's called.
Church.
I lost grip there and lost a couple of places.
Anglesey was kind to you last year as well, wasn't it?
It was, yes. I'm sure we won. We definitely got a close to him. We may have won one of the races. The night race was certainly eventful. Our lights turned out at one point, which is pretty alarming.
Even I know that's not good.
It's a bad thing.
So we'll see what happens in this one. A bit of misfortune today, but hopefully fingers crossed for a good result tomorrow.
That's the plan.
Well done, congratulations. Let's go back upstairs to Chris in the commentary box.
Thank you, Mark. As the racing action continues here in Anglesey, 12 3/4 minutes remaining of the final race of the first day here of the third meeting of the 2022 calendar. And looking at the tail end of the number 69 car, now in the hands of Oscar Trepus. Still a few cars to complete their pit stops, but everybody has been in. That's the main thing. Very noisy Ginetta from Dylan Popovich is absolutely rocking the commentary box wall as that thing roars past. As does Martin Addison's Aston Martin, actually. Certainly no complaint from my side, I can assure you. On stream, we are seeing the number 36 car, Mark Smith. Or 136 as it is actually in this race. On the side of the car. Sometimes they have to change it if there's a kind of conflict of numbers. Sometimes they put a 1 or a 0 or some kind of differentiating factor into the numbers. There's Stuart Daber in the TBR Tuscan. He's in 6th position, or was last time over the timing line. With certain pit stops still to complete. I think it's just the one now, which is Andrew Roby in the 29 car. Still to do his particular stop. Everyone else has been through the pit lane now. There's Daniel Petters coming up towards the banking, I think, turn 3. Sideways, as usual. Now onto the faster part of the circuit. Lots and lots of right foot going on. I beg your pardon, that was Church who was going through. But again, still sideways. Now coming in towards turn 7, rocket in. There's the Etheridge BMW, car number 80. Chris Etheridge started that one. Andrew Etheridge now in control of it, as Mark Werrell in the pit lane has found another driver to have a chat to.
So pit stops have just about finished, and one driver that's just climbed out is Chris Etheridge, who's jumped out of the E46 M3. Chris, important race for you as a Welshman here in Anglesey.
Yeah, you know, we're in front of our class anyway, so it looks all right for today for a change.
The circuit out there, everybody's saying there's a distinct lack of grip, but now we've got the cloud cover. Do you feel as though that is still the case?
No, there's a lot of oil on that track anyway, so you are fighting for traction a lot of the fast corners here. So yeah, it is quite difficult to keep out the way of the cloud of dust that the other cars are kicking up, and also going in the oil. So
not a bad stint from you. You've handed the car over to the old man now. Dad's behind the wheel.
Yes, so hopefully he keeps it where it is now, but we'll see.
Well, maybe a place or two higher.
Hopefully, yeah, but we'll see.
Well, great stint, well done, and good luck for tomorrow's race as well.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
So there we go, that's our final driver that we're going to interview now that we've got through the pit stop window. So I'll hand you back upstairs to Chris Buxton and we'll catch up with our last few drivers at the end of this race.
Thank you, Mark. Daniel Peters back in the lead of the race then in the 386 Porsche. He's not too far ahead of that man. There's Mark Smith still chasing him down. So the Porsche still having to work hard to maintain the lead here. Andy Rath still on the back of Andy Roby. The BMW versus Lotus, Andy versus Andy. That is 4. Let's have a look where they are. Well, they're side by side is where they are, coming down towards the Rockets. But they're fighting for 9th at the moment. We'll catch up with them when they've finished their squabble. There's Stuart Dayburn coming out of the last corner, roaring his way past us in the glorious Tuscan, followed by Mark Smith. Series of BMWs now coming past us. The Pet and Pet Ginetta still going. Now just climbed up to 7th, interestingly. But I'm fairly sure they will have a penalty to serve. That's the lead battle then, as we can see on stream, working their way through turn 8. So Porsche versus BMW, Peters versus Smith. This is shaping up to be a fine battle. Daniel Peters was absolutely untouchable in that Porsche in Snetterton. But around the more technical circuit of Anglesey, the BMW very much showing its strength well. And look how defensive Daniel Peters had to go. And parked it on the apex, disrupted the momentum of the BMW, and again is stuck to that defensive line down towards turns 1 and 2, and the BMW is going to skate around the outside to try and take the lead. Oh no, the Porsche's in trouble. It was looking like a great move, but that might be why Daniel Peters has pulled the car off. Oh, another victim has fallen to the Welsh circuit. Daniel Peters' Porsche is being parked up. Wasn't aiming for alliteration, but I'll go for it. And again, he's parked by the same place that Mick Dwayne parked his car, by where the marshals can easily grab it. Oh, that is a shame. We don't see masses of smoke pouring from it, but Mark Smith will enjoy that as he screams off into the lead now, with quite a gap now back to Stuart Dayburn. It's like, it doesn't look like the rear bumper's been dented in on that car, but I think that's the way the livery looks. But yeah, Mark Smith now is going to have a fairly easy run. There is the now stranded Porsche of Daniel Peters. Such a shame, was going very well, but it did seem to be a little bit off the pace of what we've seen from it in the past. And sadly, the Track Road and Race Porsche, obviously sponsor of the series, has fallen short this time around. But the battle of the Andes continues. Roby ahead of Rath. BMW still keeping Lotus at bay. Can Andy Roby then fend him off for another 6.5 minutes? That's going to be the golden question. They're going to be very well suited actually to this particular track. Both of them fairly short wheelbase, so we'll deal with the twisty bits pretty well. Very different engine size though. The 1 Series BMW has a 3.2 litre engine, whereas Andy Rath has a turbocharged 2-litre engine in the Lotus. So similar power output. We know that the Lotus has got about 450 horsepower, 480 brake horsepower. Not 100% certain what the BMW is running. And that's another Track Road and Race prepared car. You can see from the TRR on the front of the car. Andy Rath has had a lot of success in the Lotus, so that's a difficult car. Yeah, more flames being belched out of the back. It doesn't seem to be slowing him down any. I wondered if that was a bit of a precursor to an issue, but no. Well, if it is, no one's told Andy Rath that. And still belching flame. That seems to be getting worse, if anything. So hopefully that's not a developing issue. At the moment, he's keeping Andy Roby company. They work their way through Rocket. Andy Roby's just kind of minding his own business, essentially, just driving his own line. It's going to be up to Andy Rath to find a way past. Doesn't seem to be a huge power difference between the two overall. Was the engine size difference, as we mentioned. It'll be a bit of a weight difference, I'd have thought. Lotus possibly a little bit lighter than the BMW, but it's not giving Andy Rath any particular type of advantage. And Andy Roby doing a great job of maintaining that 8th position. A bit further up, Battle of the Beamers, that's Tom Holbrook in the 61 car, and now up into 3rd place. Now the car behind is Ollie Smith, who is in 4th. Yeah, he's lost that 4th to Tom Holbrook. So they're both E36s, both in the 3.2 litre range. So Ollie Smith has already won today. It's going to be a bit of an arse for him to make it 2 for 2. Again, the Outspeed logos emblazoned across Tom Holbrook's car. But Mark Smith seems to be not Mark Smith, but Ollie Smith, beg your pardon, 2 Smiths in the top 5, both in BMWs as well. Different classes though. The way the class structure works in New Millennium, well actually for both New Millennium and Open it's dealt with in engine power, as we see a very, very squiggly BMW there. Coming out of the final turn, we've seen quite a few squiggly cars coming through that final turn in particular. It was the Etheridge car that was being a bit exploratory with grip. As we jump back to Ollie Smith chasing the podium. Are they closing in on Stuart Dayburn? No, Stuart Dayburn is continuing to build that gap, about 4.1 seconds between the Tuscan in 2nd and the BMW pair behind. But it's done on engine size as far as classes are concerned for both New Millennium and Open. So Class A in New Millennium is over 3.5 litre. B is 3 litre to 3.5 litre. C is 2 to 3 litre, and D is up to 2 litre. Then you have M1 and M2. So M1 is for highly modified BMWs either running the S50 or S54 3.2 litre engine, and M2 is lightly modified BMWs running that same engine package. And in Open, it's purely done on engine size. So A is the smaller engine category, like the Millennium, which is the bigger one. So up to 1600cc for A's in the Open category, 1601 to 2 litre for B's, and 2 to 3 litre in the C's. And they made a bit of a change to the class structure for this year. They've got D1 and D2. So D1 is for over 3 litre highly modified and higher power to weight ratio cars, and D2 is over 3 litre but lightly modified or lower power to weight ratio cars. So the New Millennium category looks at is designed for post 2000 production cars and their racing variants, and for cars that are deemed to be in the spirit of the regulations, so older cars running non-standard aero parts or sequential gearboxes and the like. And the Open, sponsored by Viren Builders, is designed for all production saloon, hatchback, sports and GT cars of any age, with some kit car models being accepted with committee approval. So that's a very, as the name would suggest, it's an open series, so it's got less stringent entry requirements, but still has to be okayed, of course, by the board. But it has given us some incredible racing. Only a minute and a half remaining of this race, and Mark Smith, well, dare I say it, has got this one sewn up. Don't want to give him the commentator's curse, but we still have a fair amount of squabbling behind him. Mark Smith looks set to be the victor. Stuart Dayburn, again, another podium visit for him in the Tuscan. Tom Holbrook and Ollie Smith are still having their argument for 3rd. So there is our race leader on the stream, just coming through turns 7 and 8. Up the hill towards Peel, which is turn 9. Yellow lights ablaze. It is getting darker now, all the cloud covers come in. And it's looking very ominous for tomorrow. We've enjoyed some beautiful weather here in northern Wales, which seems to have now been masked by this ominous cloud cover. As we said before, depending on which weather report you look at, would dictate if we're going to have rain tomorrow. Final lap then being begun of race number 6 of this event. Mark Smith, having lost his playmate Daniel Petters a few laps ago, is looking set to run away to a victory. Yeah, Stuart Dayburn pretty comfortable in 2nd. didn't have too much to worry about from challenge behind. Let's have a look at gaps for Holbrook and Ollie Smith. Well, they seem to have called off their battle a bit, as Tom Holbrook has built up about 1.7 seconds between those two. And Michael Vituli completes a BMW 1-2-3 for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Another 2.5 seconds back. With the Petch and Pest Ginetta having served their oddly early or seemingly early pit stop, and it didn't look like the pit lane was open when Chris Petch brought that one in, so there may well be a post-race penalty coming to the green Ginetta, but that's of no concern to Mark Smith, working his way through the corkscrew for the final time. Checkered flag is being readied for the 136 car. Here he comes, your winner for race number 6 is Mark Smith. The 136 BMW M3 E36 Evo has taken the top spot. Stuart Dayburn will take the 2nd place position in the TBR Tuscan. So some distance behind. It was 24.8 seconds last time around. I would imagine it's going to be a similar gap this time. As fast as that Tuscan is, Mark Smith was just in a class of initially 2, but sadly lost one of his playmates. There's the Tuscan. Then you've got Holbrook coming across the line in 3rd. Then Ollie Smith 4, being chased home in the end by Michael Vigili, but Michael Vigili has a penalty on the board as well. Yep, it's now come up that the Petch Ginetta does indeed have a penalty to add. It'll be for pitting outside of the pit window, but it still actually leaves them in 5th because Michael Vigili's penalty demoted him to 6th. So despite the fact that I thought the Petch Ginetta was coming in too early, Dylan Popovich has now jumped up to 5th position because he didn't have a penalty in his Ginetta G50. The Bosnian driver, from starting in last, has actually come home in 5th position. So excellent effort there for Dylan Popovich. Everyone now who is remaining has come over the line. So without Stuart's intervention, this is how the standings look. Mark Smith taking the top spot. Stuart Dayburn 2nd. Tom Holbrook 3rd. Ollie Smith 4th. Dylan Popovich in 5th. Andy Roby fending off the advances of Andy Rath for 6th. Then it's the Petch and Petch Ginetta in 8th. Michael Vigili demoted down to 9 with a post-race penalty. And Martin Anderson in that Aston down to 10th. And Paul Bolton in 11th. And the Etheridge BMW in 12th. Jamie Sturgis in 13th. And the Irving Davies Ginetta G40 in 14th. The Farrell Whelan Lotus Exige in 15th. And the Tipping Trepus BMW 325 in 16th. The one retirement we had was the mighty Porsche, sadly failing Daniel Petters in the course of the race. As the recovery truck now goes out to the stricken Porsche, we'll just wait for the field to work their way back to the holding area for the final time of the day. Mark Werrell will be ready and waiting to have a chat to the top 3 once again. And that will conclude a wonderful day's racing here at Anglesey. And we very much look forward to doing all again tomorrow. So as we said earlier, all classes will be out again, along with our Magnificent 7. So that is all cars based on the original Caterham 7 design. Will be joining us for 2 races tomorrow. They'll have their first qualifying session first thing, and then we'll get tomorrow's races underway. So 40-minute races for tomorrow, with a 15-minute pit window in the middle, and any success penalties will then be their standard length. We reduced them for today's race because today's races were shorter. Even still, that still mixed up the grid quite a bit. So fabulous day's racing, and for the most part, wonderful day's weather, further accentuating the beautiful Welsh countryside that surrounds us here at Anglesey. And Mark Werrell, for the final time today, is ready with our podium 3.
So our final race winner of the day joins me, Mark Smith. Mark, early stages of the race, you were keeping Daniel Petters really honest at the wheel of that Porsche, and then problems for him means you take the win.
Yeah, it was a little bit of luck for me, but a bit of bad luck for him, which I wouldn't have wished it that way. I'd rather come second and given him an honest fight, but it's my old car actually, so I hope it's not a warranty claim he's coming for. I hope it's something cheap.
Just make sure that it's expired, the warranty.
Yeah, and I hope he's out tomorrow as well. Yeah,
It was a good fight, wasn't it? You were never that far away, so if he can sort the car for tomorrow, could be on for another good fight.
Yeah. It was great. Sort of, he was keeping me focused, and when he came into pit, I think I drifted off with my lap times a bit, and I need someone to chase to dial the old grey matter still. Yeah, it was good fun.
But nice to be back at Anglesey again.
Oh, brilliant. Love the circuit. Yeah, perfect.
Big old smile and do it all again tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Mark.
There we go. So that's Mark Smith. We'll wander down and grab a quick word with Stuart Dayburn, who we spoke to earlier on today when he just missed out on a win at the wheel of the Tuscan. And it's another second place, I'm afraid, Stuart, but it's a good day's work.
Well, it's always good to come second, I've heard, but I'd like to win. But no, it was good. I didn't think I was ever going to get anywhere near the BMs because they're very well set up, and this is a few years old now. It's about 30 odd years old, so it's still fighting and punching above its weight, so we're quite happy with that.
I think so many people that were around in the era, myself included, look back at the TVR Tuscans, and I don't think, looking back with rose-tinted glasses, it was just an amazing one-make series. So what's it like to drive the car?
It's mad. It's absolutely mad because you haven't got any of the sort of help with the driver's aids or anything else, and that's probably what made it so entertaining. And unfortunately, the crowd like to see crashes. If you own the car, you don't want to be doing that.
No, rather counterintuitive. Back out tomorrow for another couple of races?
Absolutely, yeah. We've got the Modern Futures race and another open race.
We'll let you cool down, grab a shower, and we'll see you tomorrow.
I'm going to need that, thank you.
And then let's go have a word with our final driver of the day, which is Tom Holbrook. Good to see Tom. He's busy smiling away. Tom, that was a fantastic race, but crumbs, you were having a great battle with Ollie Smith for a good mount.
Wasn't that a great battle? That was brilliant. And then when I got past him, he was alongside me for a few of these through the corkscrew up here. It was fantastic. So it was a good battle. I felt like we were down a little bit on power. We were having a little bit of fuel starvation issues, I felt. Otherwise, I probably could have got past him a bit sooner. But it was a good fight. Enjoyed it.
When you're side by side with a driver down through the corkscrew, you have to trust each other.
You do, because I can't see where he is at all. I mean, it's completely blind. So I gave some space, and then actually, as I came out of the exit, I could see that he wasn't alongside me, but I'd just assumed that he was. I think that's the best thing to do.
Well, you know a driver's always enjoyed the race when he's smiling from ear to ear and he's finished third.
Look, I enjoyed it. You know, the AM Speed cars first and third, very happy. So it was good.
Happy little team. We'll see you tomorrow. And we'll see you tomorrow as well, because that's it. Day one of the Classic Sports Car Club here at Anglesey is done and dusted. We'll do it all again tomorrow. We go live on the stream about 9:30 in the morning. So from Chris Buxton, myself, Mark Werrell, thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.